There, Pisces. It's Jen here from tarotspirit.net. I am doing a 2019 overview reading. So for these readings, instead of pulling a card for each month, I'm going to pull some cards for love, for career, and then some overall messages. So thanks for joining me. All right, let's just jumping right into it for love. Wow. So 3 major arcanas right at the top. A lot of people are going to be moving away from relationships or old habits. They have an extra card too. He keeps coming. Okay, this one wants to come out too. Wow. Moving away from ways you have handled yourself in relationships as well. So not just literally like breaking up with people, but even within an existing relationship, having better communication, not learning how to fight fair, like really maturing and having those hard conversations, which you're afraid to have because you're like, if I have this conversation, they may break up with me. But you realize like the relationship isn't going to be what I want it to be if I don't have that relationship. It's kind of like before you get married, there's like a list of questions you should talk about. Maybe so for some of you, maybe that if you're going to move in with someone or get married, you're like, hey, we need to talk about how many kids you want to have. Would you welcome one of our parents as they get older into our house to care for? What do you feel about college? What do you feel about, paying for college for kids? Do you want kids? Where do you want to live? You know what I mean? And really, a lot of people fill in the blanks with assumptions because you think, well, they must want what I want because isn't that what everyone wants? But depending on everyone's an individual and depending on how they were raised and what is sort of quote unquote normal to them. And you may be surprised at their answers, and make sure you listen and believe them. I've done that. I've like filled in the blanks or even thought, no, they can't really think that. Like I've literally had someone tell me something and I'm like, oh, they must be joking or they must be that because that's absurd. And it wasn't. They were actually being honest, and I just didn't listen for whatever reason. So, some of you, whether you're in a relationship or not, are going to be like, I think in a relationship, you're going to be like, let's get the hell out of here. Like, and this sort of just came up for Gemini, I think. Let's get the hell out of here. Like you're watching HGTV and you literally are like watching Island Hunters or I don't know, whatever those shows are that they have on. I don't get paid from HGTV, just and you're like, let's move to fill in the blank, St. John or wherever you want to go. And you guys like do it. Like this is like no more hanging around as our life passes us by. Let's manifest a life we want. Let's take action. These two cards together are like, let's make a plan and make it happen and do it. Like, yeah, maybe you guys met in college and you were going to move somewhere and you didn't just because, reality sets in and things cost money and you ended up getting jobs in the town you went to school in. And then you were just like, wait a minute, didn't we want to move to California? Or you're like, I want to live in a van and be mobile and travel and things like that. So for some of you, it's going to be a group decision. And yeah, this is you're moving to smooth waters. Like your lifestyle is shifting to be more in line with what you guys want. My God, I haven't even looked at all the cards. You have the Wheel of Fortune. You have the Star card, the healing. Some of you may, some of you may come into money that affords you to do this, but maybe maybe you guys were really stagnant, and all of a sudden one of you's like, I'm not happy here. And you're like, I'm not happy here either. And you realize that the relationship was getting stagnant, not necessarily because you were both sort of settling for each other, you felt like, but then you realized you were both doing it for like the gift of the magi. You were both like sacrificing for each other, but neither of you actually wanted what you were doing. And until you like use your voice, use your words, you didn't know it. And you finally are learning to speak up, and your relationship like takes on this a completely different, you guys are just like, oh my God, like we're happy now because you both realize you want the same things, but for some reason you hadn't ever really discussed it before. For single people, this may be what. So listen, if you are just sitting around sad, putting your life on hold on some level, waiting for someone to come along, that vibe, that kind of stagnant energy isn't really attractive to other people. You're most attractive to people when you're out living your life and doing your thing. And again, look at these cards like, I'm going to manifest. I have plans. I'm taking action. I'm moving forward. I'm making my own luck. That makes you extremely attractive. And so I see the single people not thinking about, not waiting or putting their life on hold, thinking, okay, my life can start once I find a significant other. But making the move. And it's like on this journey of manifesting the life you want, that you meet someone that matches that energy of living instead of waiting. Because this person comes in down here, this Knight of Cups and this Page of Wands. This is passion. This is, a new love, a new offer, someone coming in. It's even the star cards next to it. I mean, this is like the person you dreamed of. You can have everything you dream of, but it's like it's going to take some inner work, some honest conversations, difficult conversations. You can literally look up how to have difficult conversations, but I think it's going to go well. And you know what? If it doesn't go well, now you know, and you're not going to be waiting around for someone that's never going to come around because you guys don't want the same thing, and you can then move on. But again, living your life, taking action, getting out there, will bring in a partner that you could only dream of, that you dreamt of, whatever. All right, let's do really nice cards coming out. I think it was, who am I doing? Pisces. It was Gemini who had like 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands. All right, career. Let's see what's going on. What's going on for Pisces for career in 2019? I just tell you, these are general readings, so this may not resonate with you at all. I'd be surprised if it resonated with a lot of you. I do try to make them somewhat more, instead of super specific, more philosophical, because I think people can relate to those better in their own life. But anyway, what are these? Ace of Swords, Hierophant, 7 of Swords. there's always, I gotta tell you, there's always one a-hole in the work environment, right? Just always. It's just always that one person that, ugh. And it's funny. I think, can't remember if it was Gemini or Capricorn. Oh no, this is the Page of Wands. I was thinking that was the Seven of Wands. Don't let people get you on the defensive. Like if people are going to be jerks in the workplace, like don't get invested in it. Don't get involved in the gossip. Don't get sucked in, basically. Do not get sucked in. You will be at a crossroads in your career this year. Um, and really sort of taking a step back and assessing where you are, where you want to go. Are you going to be able to? So a lot of you are in like a bigger corporation, a bigger company, um, and these types of people, these types of toxic people hide. They're sprinkled throughout an organization, and they're causing their problem. They can sort of hide in it, right? Because there's just so many people. So some of you are going to be like really taking a step back, zooming out, looking at the big picture. And especially like maybe this person is a manager or has the ear of a manager, is one of those duplicitous people. And you're like, with this person here, yes, you have to deal with difficult people and you can't leave every job every time there's a difficult person. But some people are super toxic, and especially if they are in a position of power or have the ear of someone in power. And depending on how toxic they are, they can really make your life miserable. So you're like, can I in this organization or this department or this whatever, am I going to be able to get where I want to go? And you're really going to look at that, and you may be able to, but you may not. And you need to do an assessment. And depending on that information, make some decisions. I do see this Page of Wands is like a new job. And look at this. It's like the Sun card. It's illuminating. Look at the Phoenix. It's like you're really shining a spotlight on things and seeing some truths. And maybe this company has been like, oh, you're our best employee, we're going to make you we're going to give you a leadership position, and then we're going to promote you, and they just keep giving you more and more work, and they never come through. Or they're just like, oh, I can't do anything about promoting you. We just can't, but then other people get promoted, and you're finally like, you know what? I'm moving on, because this isn't. I'm not here to work myself to death for a big corporation. Some of you may want to do your own thing, work towards your own thing, but again, it's that assessment this year of, where am I? Where do I want to go? How can I accomplish that? Can I accomplish that where I am? Some of you really get this idea, and you're like, do I want this this idea to benefit this corporation, or do I want it, or is it my idea? Like, how are they going to, if you're in a place where they're like it's a great place to work, and they're like really give credit where credit's due, and it's a nice atmosphere, then you may want to stay with them. But if it's a place more like I was describing, you're be like, maybe it's time to go on my own and be more protective of my intellectual property, because this jackass is just going to take credit for it or whatever, and you're kind of sick of that happening. But this is definitely a new job, a new business. You may work from home, start your own business. If you if you do leave your place of employment, like you will rise up and look at this card. I mean, this is gorgeous. You may literally want to do something outside with animals, with like a farm, with flowers, organic, something like that. Children. Maybe you're like, I want my job to mean something. Like maybe I want to do something completely different. Look at that nice sun and sand. But I do see you moving away from any sort of toxic work relationships, but a year of a reassessment of where you are and where you want to go. Some of you will have a brilliant idea for your own business and pursue that this year. But you have to make that decision first. Okay, some overall cards here. Five of Shields, which is 5, 10 of Wands. Oh dear, yeah, you're just like, there's stagnation, you're overburdened. And then the Death card, 9 of, yeah. You want to be somewhere in your life, in any and all parts of your life, where you're not working against your true nature, where your energy isn't being zapped by a relationship, by a job, by whatever, by yourself, by your own bad habits, where you're able to thrive and your energy isn't depleted to the point where you're just exhausted every day. Because we have this 5 of Shields. You're like, I feel like I don't make enough money. I'm overburdened. I feel like I'm just going nowhere. Like I'm just like the waves just keep crashing me up against the shore. And so you're going to take that very seriously again with that reassessment that we were talking about and make some changes. Death is like, the Death card is you're just something changes in your brain about how you're going to live your life, and you transform your life. You transform, and this is almost like you have to change the way you think about things. And once you can get your mind wrapped around this new perspective, you're able to thrive. Like maybe you were like, I have to work at a big company. My goal is to work my way up in this company. And so you've just stayed and stayed and stayed and stayed. And now you're like, maybe the corporate life is killing me. Speaking of the Death card, and I need to reassess and move to a place where I have some balance in my life and I'm appreciated and I'm allowed to be creative. And maybe that may take, talking to your significant other, moving, changing, downsizing, doing something. But I think you're both, if you are in a relationship, are like, I don't want this grind is killing me. And I think we can do better, and let's do better and make a plan to do better. And you're going to find something that you're enthusiastic about that isn't going against your true nature every day in your life. So you're living your authentic self, and not living because, oh, I need a fancy corporate job and a house in the suburbs and 2.5 kids. And you're kind of like, screw that. That is killing me. I want to be able to enjoy life while I'm young and healthy to enjoy it, and work to live, not live to work. All right. Thank you, Pisces. Have a lovely year. I'll see you at the next video. Take care.